I guess it's become tradition to wear blackface in Korea during Black History Month because this is getting really ridiculous. Korea, you need to stop. Blackface is not funny. What's up, guys? I wanted to do another little TV review. I contemplated whether I wanted to write this out or do a vlog on it, and since I figured I should utilize my YouTube account a little bit more because I usually either can't find time or inspiration for what to do on these little vlogs. So I'm like, why not? I'll just, talk about it instead of write about it because I don't know. I don't know how to really express it into written words, I suppose. I don't know, something like that. But I'm gonna talk about the latest season of American Horror Story, which is called American Horror Story Coven. And yeah, since that ended, last week? Yeah, I want to talk about that. Um, let's start from the beginning. I really like American Horror Story. It was something different and new, and I became really easily attached to it during the first season. It had a great story, it was something new, something different, and I liked the characters and the things that were going on and the way that it went. So yeah, it was very interesting and different, like I said. I've never seen anything like it. So I was excited and pumped when the second season came out, and it was focusing on an asylum. I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be great. There's so much potential you can do with an insane asylum, and my mind was just, gears were turning, and I'm just like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And then, well, I was disappointed. I didn't really like the second season as much as a lot of people. If you want to read my complete thoughts on it, I'll put a link to the review of it below in the description, because yeah, I had to break my rule of writing about television, American television, because I just got really annoyed with all the recognition and praise that Asylum got that year, because I didn't think it deserved it, because I didn't like it very much, and I thought it was just poorly written and confusing and just convoluted with too much stuff going on but not enough going on all at the same time, and I did not like it. So coming into Coven, I was hesitant but excited, and I was like, I don't know how it's gonna be, but going with an open mind, of course, and I'm like, okay, we'll see how this goes. So I wanted to wait at least, I don't know, 3 episodes before, sealing my concrete feelings towards the season so far. And during, the majority of the season, I was quite entertained. I wasn't confused. I enjoyed the characters, whether I disliked them or liked them. They were very well developed, and the writing was a little better. There was a couple or so parts that confused me a little bit that I had to go look up myself and read it to understand what was going on, because I understand that the show is very dialogue heavy, and you have to really pay attention to what's going on, and if you miss something, then it might skew what comes later, and you'll be kind of lost or something. So I had that problem with the last season, with Asylum, because I was like, oh, there's just so much dialogue going on, and I had to move closer to the TV to just catch it all, to absorb it all, and I was still lost, and I had to read it, and I was like, oh, okay, I understand now, I understand what's going on. But I didn't have to do that as much with this season, which is always a good thing. Um, characters were really interesting, lots of diversity, and I really like that. It's interesting when a show changes its plot but recycles characters. Well, not really characters, but actors to play other characters. Jessica Lange was good. I mean, I think she's kind of typecasted as that character. But I really loved Angela Bassett. She was amazing. She's in, I guess, my top 3 or 5, whatever, favorite characters in that series. Is great. Uh, Gabrielle Sidibe, I instantly fell in love with her character. She is my favorite witch out of the 3. Um, Emma Roberts took me a while to adjust. If you don't know which character she was Madison. She just, I don't know, maybe because I saw her in Scream 4 and I'm just like, man, you try so hard to break away from that goody girl image that you had in Fabulous, but that's who you are. You're more of like a sweetheart girl next door type, not this I'm a bitch, I'm bad, I'm gonna be mean. She just, her portraying characters like that just still feels a little unnatural, but I think either I got used to it or she got better, but I think over time she became a little bit more natural. So I hope if she ever decides to play more characters like that she gets better. Because sometimes I just can't get that whole Nickelodeon image out of my head from when I first saw her. And how awkward she was being that type of character in Scream 4. It's kind of ingrained in my head. All the other characters were fine, I suppose. Yeah, there was a lot of good points to the story. Was interesting and good, easy to follow. The writing was a little better compared to last season. The characters were interesting and I can keep up with everything that was going on with them. And it was interesting that they tied real life history into the script. So I learned some things about, witchcraft and their history and whatnot. So that was pretty cool. The imagery, of course, is always good. They're very strong with that. So yeah, lots of positives. So what negatives do I have? Well, um, other than the little bit of casting character type things I had, that's a little bit minor as I became, adjusted to it. Let's see. Oh, there were a couple, moments, or I guess subplots, that I thought were completely unnecessary. And the biggest subplot that I hated it so much. I wish they just cut it out and just leave it just somewhere in the dumpster because it was a terrible, terrible idea, and it just didn't do anything for the main story, which is the whole thing with Violet and I forgot his name. Her boyfriend, that guy. I think his real name is Evan Peters. Her name wasn't Violet, something else. Zoe. Violet was her name in the first season. So Zoe, I think. If I'm wrong, I am so sorry. Yeah, their relationship together, I see them trying to reunite them together because they were together in the first season, whatever, and I guess some fans were like, oh, I want them back together, they were so great. Well, you got it, and this plot line for it was stupid, and I hated it, and it was annoying, and it was distracting from all the good stuff that was going on between the witches and the voodoo people, the voodoo tribes, the war between that and everyone else. Yeah, I just did not care. I didn't care. I didn't care about him. I just wanted him to go away. He was completely useless. Their relationship was completely useless and did nothing for me. And what really got on my nerves is when they decided, oh, well, Madison wants to join in this too, and it became this like threesome thing, and they had this implied threesome thing because I guess they were like, oh, we haven't done a lot of like sex and stuff in this season, so yeah, let's just shove that in. And oh my god, I just hated it so much, and I just wish they just left that whole plot line out because it just, yeah, it didn't add anything to the main plot, and I just did not care. And from what I saw on Facebook from friends, they didn't care either. No one cares. So yeah, just no. Um, Other super big annoyance for me, and I know probably not a lot of people will talk about this unless they're just, super technical and stuff because yeah, I'm a film student and it's just hard not to notice these technicalities. But I really got annoyed with camera angles like a lot. From first season all the way to last, the direction of where the camera should be or where the cameras were at, where they should be, were just, oh, it got on my nerves. There were too many Dutch angle shots when there didn't need to be, which is when the camera is tilted to give it's one of those signature moves used in horror movies for, suspense, like something is off balance or something. They use that way too much, and it didn't even like add to the effect of anything. They just threw it in there like carelessly, and there was so many cutaways from like, oh, we're gonna have a close-up of Jessica Lange for like 5 seconds, and then cut over here where it's like a full-length shot of her, and then close up again, and then we'll just pull away, and then we'll focus on these like fruit or something. I don't know. The camera's placement and angles were a mess, and it annoyed me so much. So I don't know if that's a film student thing or if other people had problems with it that aren't super into the technical aspects of film, or if they're kind of casually into it. But camera angles was one of my biggest complaints about the show. So yeah, I think okay, I'm going to briefly go over what the finale, because I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen it yet, but I have concluded that American Horror Story has very, very weak finales. And I think the time limit that they have for the show, meaning that, it's an hour-length show, kind of hurts them a bit in a way, but I think there are ways to make it better if they, I don't know, either stretched what they have planned for the finale, or I don't know, but they're just not very good with finales, because midway through it, it's like, oh, this was really good, and then you get to this point where it's like, all right, that's it, that's the end. But no, you still have like 20 minutes or something left of the show, and you're like, oh man, I wish they would have ended it like earlier. It would have been perfect. But no, they just kept going because they have to fill up an hour-long spot. And I've kind of felt that way with all 3 seasons. Less so with the first season, maybe because my memory of the finale of it is kind of vague, but it's kind of like, oh yeah, so I don't know what they're gonna do, but they kind of ended it with, okay, the cycle is just gonna repeat, and we'll just end it there. I was like, okay, fine, that's good. Great, love it, can't wait for a second season. Second season finale, I really felt that feeling of, oh man, this was great. She got what these little subplot things ended on a great note. But then it kept going and it added all this ridiculous stuff that just did not make sense, and it didn't flow, it didn't gel with the rest of that episode, or, well, mostly with the rest of the episode. So I'm just like, ugh, I wish they could have just cut it right here. But it's not a movie, they have to fill up in a stupid hour. So it's like, where are these aliens coming from? Who are these kids? How did this person get cancer? Where did that come from? It's just, they just shoved a whole bunch of stuff to just fill up the time, and it just didn't flow. So I kind of felt like this. So it's like, it is, and I'm like, great, this is a great ending, but I'm like, oh, there's still some time left, so I don't know what they're gonna add here, because where they, like, put this commercial at is, like, a perfect place to end the finale. It would have been great. But no, they just kind of added extra conclusion. It's like, well, so-and-so finished this thing. That's great. Awesome. And they're like, okay, we're gonna add some more, history or something or other. Let's see if I can explain it without, spoiling it by using an example. It's like, someone got married, and, before they were struggling to get this person that they really, really love's attention, and they finally got him, and then you find out that, in conclusion, that, okay, so now we found out that she's, pregnant or something, and she's happy, and she's with the one she loves. And then it cuts to commercials. So it's like, oh, yay, happy ending. Everything's great. Everything's ended. Everything's tied up. But then the commercials end and the show comes back on. It's like, whoa, what else is there left to add? And you just kind of add on this. Well, after she gave birth, she went to school and she got a medical degree. And then her husband got into this big business deal. And then their kid grew up and went to Harvard and found the cure for HIV or something. And yeah, it's like, with all that stuff does not matter. That's all well and good, but it's like we already got our happy ending, so you don't have to add more, happy to the ending. We got it. Everything should be good. We are going to assume things are great. It's like fairy tales. It's like, okay, she got our Prince Charming. Done. Okay, we don't need an after story. So that's how I felt about this season finale. So it was kind of underwhelming. Like the last one where it's like, oh yay, everything's great, everything. Well, I'm happy. It's great midway, and then after that, it's like, Wish y'all could have ended it earlier, but you can't because it's not a movie, it's a TV show, you gotta fill up the spot, blah blah blah. But overall, I will have to say that I recommend you guys checking out American Horror Story Coven, because it was good. It was really good. Season 1 is gonna be my favorite. This one will be second for sure, and Asylum's just gonna be on the bottom because I hate Asylum. So yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it, despite those little problems. Yeah, so you don't have to watch the first 2 seasons to understand this one, because they're all self-contained stories in different eras and different sets of characters. They might recycle actors, but yeah, they're not connected at all. And I read that they have been renewed for a season 4, and it's a circus. So if you have a clown phobia, you probably are gonna have to skip this one, sadly, because most likely you're gonna have clowns, because they're just kind of synonymous with circuses. So yeah, that's my review. I'm sorry it ran a little long, but I had a lot to say because it was a lot longer of a series. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.